What's the difference between a budget and a forecast? And also, why do you need both? Well, a budget is what you come up with as your expectation of what you think the next financial year is going to look like. So, for example, here we've got a whole 12 months worth of data. So, we're giving ourselves a view of what we think our next financial year is going to look like. Normally, you'd be completing your budget in quarter four of the year before. Clearly, most of these are going to be based on estimates. And as well as estimating the total amounts, you also need to think about the phasing. Some of them, for example, are just done on an even 12-month spread. Some of them, for example, salaries, you may have hiring decisions already planned out for the year. So there you'd be stepping up the costs where necessary. Some items, like in this example, we've got intern costs, which are only incurred over the summer. So we're building up a picture, line by line, of what we think the financial year is going to look like, giving us then a final position of where we think our net profit is going to end up at the end of the year. And once you've got that, you're going to hold your budget. You don't want to change it because this is our expectation of what we think the year is going to look like right at the beginning. Now, with a forecast, what we're doing with a forecast is we are updating our budget figures as we move through the year based on the variances between our actual performance and our budgeted performance. So we're moving through the year, taking what we've learned and updating our expectation on where we think the financial year is going to land. So you're not starting from scratch. What you're doing is just taking the learnings and applying it to the budget assumptions you made at the start of the year. Now, how often should you do this forecast? There isn't really a right or wrong answer here. I would say it very much depends on where you are in your business journey and how mature your financial processes are. However, I would say a good habit to be in would be to reforecast every quarter. And I'm going to show you now what that would look like. So at the end of quarter one, we've got then 3 months worth of actual data. And then what we're doing is we're taking the learnings from this. We're looking at how those 3 months compare to what we budgeted. And based on that, we're then going to update our assumptions for the remaining 9 months of the year. And this is where the name comes from. We're referring to this one as a 3+9 forecast because we've got 3 months of actual and 9 months of forecast data. Moving forward, at the end of quarter two, we've now got ourselves a 6+6 forecast because what we've got is 6 months worth of actual data. And again, we're updating our expectations for the remaining 6 months of the year. Moving forward again, this would give us 9 months of actual data, and then we've only got a remaining 3 months left of forecast. So here we're referring to it as the 9+3 forecast. And every time we're moving forward, we are updating this net profit result. So we're getting the latest information on where we think we're going to land and what our financial year is going to look like. And the reason this is useful is because we're taking that valuable information of what's happening in our business right now, and we're using that to update our assumptions and update our views to make sure we're then making our business decisions based on the latest information. Now, I can understand as a business owner, this can feel quite a lot. You've got a growing business, you've got 1,000 other different things going on. It can feel maybe overwhelming, but you don't necessarily need a hugely complicated forecasting process to get value from it. Simply having a habit of setting expectations, reviewing your performance, and then taking what you've learned and applying that forward, even that is going to give you really good value and a really great place to be making business decisions from. So our aim here with the forecasting process is to then progressively incorporate these learnings as we're moving through the year and applying them to our forecast for the full year. So the key takeaway here, I would say, is that your budget is your set view at the start of the financial year of what you think that year is going to look like. And the forecast is then your evolving view as you're moving through the year, picking up all those learnings as you go along. So hopefully that's given you a useful way of thinking about budgets and forecasts. I will be sharing more practical examples here. So if you'd like to see those, please do subscribe to the channel